Hello and good evening.
Hey, sorry. I'm eating the world's most delicious muffin right now. Mmm, so tasty.
That's
Peruvian
okay.
grade.
Hey, so since you're not, I kind of want to ask everybody about aliens. What do we think about aliens?
What do
The
you mean?
real.
Like
What-
philosophically, or the movie, or like the band? Like
Definitely
what?
not the movie. Like, or is there a band just called Aliens?
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
If there's not, there should be. But anyway, I'm just saying, do we think they exist? First
Having
off,
personally been probed, I can attest that they do exist.
okay.
I don't think it was an
Statistically-
alien that was probing you, guy. I don't know how to tell you this.
So you know, not only that they exist, but that not only that we've been contacted, but that you specifically have been contacted and probably entered by aliens. Is that
That's
what I'm?
great. That's correct.
Okay.
There's a movie on Netflix about it. Is it called Gray Matter or something like that?
Probably alien.
And that's like based on a true story that you
Your true story.
that you submitted.
It's not based on my story, but it's very similar to the one that I had.
Really?
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. So, tell me about this story where you were abducted by aliens, guy. I've not known about this.
I can't remember a lot of it. Obviously, it's been blocked, traumatizing as it was.
Right, naturally.
Bits and pieces as it comes to me. I'll elucidate.
As
All right.
we unzip the baggage that is your mind during this trying alien-related time,
Yeah.
we'll get to the bottom of it.
Go ahead.
Do you
Yeah.
think aliens that the U.S. government has talked to aliens before?
Oh, absolutely.
Why do you think so, Bradley?
Well, I don't think more human contact. I don't think that's the case, but like more like NASA's probably doing some shit with them, just like hanging out. Long-term
I'm saying
people.
like Area 51. Like,
Oh,
you know
that's
what I mean? Do you think
that's-
like the U.S. government has talked like and or or maybe the aliens gave them some shit and they're like, here's something that
I feel like
Watch UFO on Netflix. That was an interesting show.
there's
It seems
something called the Blue Book experiment. Some guy was working for the government in Area 51.
yeah.
Or the Blue Book documentary or Operation Blue Book, some shit like that.
Are you sure
Yeah.
that's not like about the scam that is Blue Books?
Nope.
No, it has
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Or maybe the UFO could have. I don't know. But anyway, the point is that guy got fired by Area 51. Or
I have a
lost his job at
conspiracy
the
theory.
government. Yeah, what's the conspiracy theory?
My conspiracy theory is that our technology today, our nanotechnology, comes from an alien encounter. I believe that some sort of alien craft crashed on the United States, in the United States, Roswell specifically. They
Right.
took that, and we get a lot of our technology from that today. However, I think there's a lot of it they can't figure out. But I think that's why you can fit, all the information of the universe on the head of a pin and all of that nonsense. I don't
Interesting.
think that we figured it out on our own.
Do you think, Guy, that there was any aliens like in the ship when it crashed?
Yes, I do.
Do you think they were like alive?
I think they were alive until we dissected them alive.
Have any of you
Wait a minute.
watched
Why?
X-Files?
Hang on. Why would we dissect them alive? What would we get out of that? What would be the benefit?
Why wouldn't we?
Well, how are we sure that as soon as they were exposed to the Earth's
atmosphere.
atmosphere, they weren't, they didn't turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall when he's like stuck out in Mars?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm talking about?
The real
Mhm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I got you.
Yeah, in Total Recall, and he jumps out the fucking. Sarah's shaking her head like she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I've never
Look
seen
up
Total Recall.
right now on your computer, Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall Mars scene, and then that scene where he's like, his eyes are popping out of his head, and he's bleeding from the eyes.
I don't want it. Okay, look, I've already got some Arnold Schwarzenegger related
Trauma?
issues for my trauma
Wait,
from my
wait, wait.
childhood.
This is like-
Personal beef.
This is like Pee Wee Herman, Large Marge, shitty claymation put on a human
No,
face. So
fuck
it's
that,
not.
man. Yeah, okay, look, I had like terrible nightmares for literal years because of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator and like the
But
guy.
Arnold's the good guy in this one.
It doesn't matter, okay? It was a negative association. It freaked me out.
Right.
So
and-
you just fuck Arnold Schwarzenegger forever now, and
no,
anything he's ever
no,
done.
just that era. The
Governor of
1990
California?
I don't
Fuck him.
fuck. No, he's good. I like him. as a
I believe
governor.
he's referred to as the Governor.
That's
the
true.
Governor, sure.
Yeah.
I just don't fuck with 1990 to 2000 Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't handle him.
What a guy! What a crazy ass dude to just come all the way to a country where he don't speak no fucking English, and then just learn shitty English, and then just become a governor of one of the states.
Oh, yeah, and on the way, by the way, on the way, becoming the world's greatest movie star. But before we go any further,
also being Mr. Universe as well.
That's true. Sure. But before we go any further, perhaps we should get the show started.
Good job.
Welcome to a special alien edition of A Shin Show. Joining me here in the studio is Elsie, beloved wife here in Maryland. On the top floor of the house, Bradley. In Omaha, Sarah, daughter, and Nicholas, daughter. And in Denver, oh, did I say Nicholas was a daughter? Damn it.
Yeah,
I meant
you
son.
did. Yeah, so I know you did.
I think that was pretty
It was not on purpose. And then Uncle Guy, beloved Uncle Guy, out in Frederick, Colorado. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so this, and Elsie, say hi.
Why does everyone need to know our location, bro?
I don't know.
I
All
had
right.
beef with that from the start, but I
All right, fine, fuck it. From a series of undisclosed locations, it's
separate, but undisclosed all the same.
Right. Well, I'm sorry the cat's out of the bag.
Similar only in that they are undisclosed.
Right. Do not listen to where I said that they were. They're in totally different places.
Do not listen to the part where I disclosed our locations individually.
I take it back.
I was lying the whole time. All right, anyway, so what made you think of coming up with a discussion on aliens, Nicholas?
Because like I mentioned, I watched this. I heard about someone who, this guy was talking secondhand about this documentary that he watched. This guy, it's called The Blue Book.
Project Blue Book.
Yeah. So this guy who worked in Area 51 in Roswell.
So Area 51 isn't in Roswell, first of all.
Near Roswell?
No, it's in Nevada. But
what?
Yeah, Area 51 is part of the whole Tonopah test range.
Roswell's just where the first UFO crashed.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Near Roswell, yeah.
Didn't you used to live in or around Roswell?
Yes, both Geimer and myself both lived in Roswell. Isn't that true, Guy?
They were both abducted and touched. That's not the point. The point is this guy worked for Area 51, the government. I'm talking like Area 51 is a fucking company or something, but it's not. And then he lost his...
It might be. We don't know.
It might be. It is a video game. It's a pretty damn cool video game, too. But anyway, in which you hunted aliens. But anyway, so he lost his fucking job, and then he started spilling some beans. Like this, he said that the U.S. government was visited by aliens. They came and brought this craft, and they were like, you can have this, like, come check it out. And then he's like, here are the mountain ranges, the exact coordinates where you can go up on the mountain and watch from above where they're testing these vehicles that they're making based off the blueprints that they got from this alien for this craft and all this shit. Right. But then and this was in like the 80s. Or maybe the 90s, 85, 90, that he was saying all this stuff.
Yes.
And then the shit kept coming out that he was right. And then at first, Area 51 didn't officially exist, I think, when he was talking about this place. But then they had to, because these people that he was telling could like look into where they were testing whatever it was they were testing from these specific mountain vantage points, they had to expand the government territory of Area 51. And in order to do that, they had to admit that it was, in fact, a real facility.
Yes, all of this is true in the sense that Area 51 used to be a denied location and is now acknowledged simply because it couldn't be denied anymore. There was a project that the U.S. Air Force conducted called Project Blue Book, which ran for over 10 years at least, in which all of the reports of unidentified flying objects, the Air Force collated all those and investigated them. And at the end of Project Blue Book, the conclusion was that they couldn't come to a conclusion about whether or not that alien life had visited the Earth. And Elsie's going to say something right now.
So how is that like or unlike the Mueller report?
That doesn't even make any sense.
The fact that nothing was conclusive.
That's actually totally
you want
untrue.
Me to put my tinfoil hat on and tell you why I think they said that?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like you to.
I think they fired this dude, and they made it easy for him. So they just wanted someone that they could discredit. They wanted someone to come out and say they're doing all this alien shit, and then the government could be like, No. We investigated all that. There was no conclusive evidence. Look at this fucking guy. He's a disgruntled employee. Of course he's going to say that. And so then everybody's claims up to and after that point are seen as this fucking tinfoil hat guy. You know what I mean?
I do. And look, here's the thing, right? So the fact of the matter is that the government does lots of classified research. And much of that research has resulted in weapons systems that we use today or are going to be using in the near future. It really doesn't take an alien craft crashing for us to develop this technology. I mean, look, if we really had alien technology, why would it be 50 years since we've been to the freaking moon? How about that?
Because we don't give a shit about we only care about warfare. You know what I mean? That's the stuff we care. Think about how much money we spend investing in weapons, like new innovations for weapons, and think about how very real a possibility it is that a giant comet could come out of nowhere from space and destroy the Earth in one blast. All right?
If you talk to our dear departed Uncle Ted, he would say that we never landed on the moon.
Well, that's a good point. He would also say that his 2 dead dogs are orbiting in space right now on an alien craft. Yeah, that's true.
And they visit him in his dreams and in human form. That's what he told me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, like, I think that it would be smart. It would be, like a good idea for us to develop some sort of technology to handle like some giant shit flying through space and hitting the Earth. But we don't do that, and we don't go to the moon, and we don't do all this other shit. Why? Because we don't have any interest in...
I think the general consensus is that whatever would hit the Earth would burn up in the atmosphere before it would... If
it was small enough, dude. But if there was something even half the size of the moon, that would... or even a quarter of the size of the moon that would hit the Earth. I mean, that's what happened to the dinosaurs.
Hello, have you ever seen Armageddon? Okay, we've got this stuff.
We should. You're right. That would be the right thing to do, but we don't. Nobody has a fucking craft to go land on a giant meteor. We're too old for that now. So what the fuck are we going to do? You know what I mean?
So we do actually have a very impressive ground-to-air arsenal just within the United States, and I would imagine worldwide. In fact, there's things that I know people are working on, like lasers that intercept missiles and other lasers from the sky and that sort of thing. I think the biggest challenge there is that none of them are long-range enough to really break off something that massive.
And we're talking about missiles. I'm talking about something like that was big enough to cause a mass extinction.
Yeah, so NASA is concerned about that. NASA
is, right. But
what?
But they don't have no money. Who's funding them? Like, they don't have the same budget that the military gets. You know what I'm saying? My main point that I'm going to circle back around to is that the amount of money we spend on weapons should be focused more towards, like, shit
defense
in space. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, dude, we're just hurtling through space. We have absolutely no insurance.
I think as our nations become like, I feel like we will eventually move more towards a united goal of space exploration. But
I think the money would be better spent on reforming our healthcare system.
Wow.
Right. Amen.
Boy, there's some pragmatic thinking right there.
Well, that's exactly it.
That's
it's that
true.
once we figure out our situation here, then maybe we'll look out. I don't think it's something that'll happen simultaneously.
Well, I'm just saying, well, I don't know. I guess if there's something catastrophic happening that's heading towards the Earth in the universe, then there's really not much we could do about it either.
I don't know. I mean, we just send Bruce Willis up there. And,
he's too old. I'm telling you, he's too old now.
No,
all the heroes.
He's fine.
AJ can handle it.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah,
that was Ben Affleck. Okay, he's a little bit on the sauce, but I think he's on the mend now. He's been sober for a little while, and I think AJ can handle it.
And as for the healthcare issue, I say why not just do healthcare in space? Zero gravity. It's got to be good for you.
Yeah.
Did you read the article about the guy with the twin brother that went up in space?
Yes, Michael and Scott Kelly.
Yeah.
What enlighten me on that, because I thought that his because there's no gravity in space,
his DNA basically elongated a little bit, so he was younger.
It was the telomeres. Like, so the little strands, people compare your DNA to shoestrings, right? When you're young, it's a new shoestring. But as you get older, the shoestring starts to fray at the end, and then eventually it gets destroyed. That's what happens to your DNA as you age. That's what aging does to you. But since he was in orbit in the fucking space station, for some reason, because there's zero gravity or whatever it was, it's not fully understood why, his telomeres, which should be fraying with age, got longer instead.
Right. And so what's the implication? The implication is that a trip to Uranus is actually good for you.
No one ever denied that. I didn't. Anyway.
What does the USS Enterprise have in common with toilet paper?
I don't know, Uncle Guy. What does the USS?
They both circle Uranus and destroy Klingons.
It's a classic. So classic. All right. Well, that's good. That's real good. All right. So anyway, so the bottom line is I've never seen an alien. Elsie, you ever seen an alien?
No.
You ever seen a UFO? Brad, you ever seen a UFO? Anything like that?
Nah, I just saw a weird bird once. That was kind of cool, I guess.
A weird bird. I like that. I like
It could
it.
have been an alien.
Alien
I don't know
bird.
about a UFO, but it could have been an alien.
Right. Okay. And well, I've seen plenty of illegal aliens, but
I
There's
work
a lot of
with
those.
yeah.
I work with quite a few.
Right.
All I have to do is
The
go
kinds
next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they got two names.
All
They
right.
got the real birth name and then the name that they stole from the
Dead baby.
I did see an unidentified flying object one time in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and it turned out that in the next day's paper that it was a weather balloon.
Allegedly.
There you have it.
Allegedly, or that's what they would like you to believe, right?
That's
It
what
was-
they would have us to believe.
Get that
It was-
tinfoil hat out, bro.
It was actually that really weird bird I saw earlier.
Yeah, it was. It was probably Brad's weird bird. All right. So can we just agree? Now, Sarah, have you ever had any alien encounters, anything like that? UFOs?
Aliens, no. I've seen some weird shit in the sky, but who can say, right? There was that weird, super fast coyote thing I saw that freaked me out.
That's
but
more of a chupacabra.
yeah,
type
that's more.
thing.
Yeah. That's not
Hellhound.
an alien. That's a
Which
supernatural
could be an
local
alien
thing.
experiment.
Yeah, it could
I
be
don't know.
gone wrong.
It was fucking weird, but
Or maybe aliens are a chupacabra experiment. You got to keep your mind open to that possibility.
God,
Yeah.
there's a
I
chupacabra
don't think
society.
I don't think that the chupacabras are intelligent.
There's just one.
We don't
And he
know.
is intelligent.
I don't think he is
And he's
intelligent.
watching. He's
Okay.
everywhere at once.
All right.
And he'll cut you up.
Right. He's like Santa. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
he's Krampus's pet dog.
Crap.
He's eternal.
All right. Well, this is great. So at the end of the day, we can't really say much of anything about aliens or UFOs because most of us have not, even that we're talking right now, have not really had any sort of encounter that would say.
I think
Yeah.
that given the size of the universe, okay, if you were actually put it in perspective, where there's more galaxies than there are grains of sand on the Earth, there's
yeah.
bound to be other Earth-like planets that could sustain life and probably do. The problem is that if you understand travel, you understand the distance of a light year. You know that it's not physically possible to get from this galaxy to the next without some sort of wormhole or new
Right.
technology, or you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the fact that Stephen Hawking said basically point blank, we're not alone, but we can't get a hold of them fuckers.
Right.
They ain't picking up, assholes.
Yeah.
And they don't have a voicemail set up. I will tell you this. I figured out one time how long it would take you to get to Jupiter if you were traveling at the speed of light. You want to know how fast it would take?
Sure. How long would it take?
Traveling at the speed of light. You left here to get to Jupiter. It would take you 45 minutes.
Wow. That's a lot of time. And
Yeah,
you'll
it's a
never-
long time.
Yeah.
dude.
So can you imagine how long it would take to get to
Really?
Uranus?
It takes me 45 minutes to get from here to my fucking hometown.
Well, I'm
I'm
saying,
thinking
like,
that's a good
you're not
commute.
traveling at the speed of light. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah,
you're appreciating
I mean,
how fast light travels.
Yeah, I'm not appreciating that. I'm
I don't
just
think you
saying.
appreciate light like you used to.
Okay.
You know, he works hard. He just
I
wants to come home to a clean house.
vacuum, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Well, this is.
A lot of shade being.
Hey,
thrown.
I have an interesting fact I'd like to share with you.
Go ahead, Guy. Yeah.
Let's hear it.
According to a book I recently read, Albert Einstein came up with the theory of relativity when he was a child. And his question was, what would happen if he could ride his bicycle at the speed of light?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the flesh would be rendered from the bones.
Right. Well, yes. But also, what else would happen? And it turns out a lot of different stuff that is still being proven correct even to this very day. The more they test Einstein's theory, the more it becomes a fact, which is really interesting.
Einstein was an alien,
but only only on the macro level. Once you get to the level of quantum physics, the Einsteinian theory of relativity
Newtonian physics and Einsteinian models don't
precisely
work on a quantum level. Yes,
so true.
Translate, but quantum physics is like very relative and theoretical, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I mean,
I'm not. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it anymore at all because I'm going to make myself sound like a dumbass.
All I know is that the Avengers did some cool shit with quantum physics.
Don't spoil it.
Check
Do not spoil it for me.
Not doing it. I'm just letting you know. Quantum physics may or may not be involved.
Technically, quantum mechanics. If you wanted to get technical about it.
Well, that's true, and you are, after all, a journeyman quantum electrician.
Well, actually, I'm not, but I made myself an honorary quantum physicist. So
yeah, like what do you gotta? Don't you just say you're a quantum physicist and now you are, right?
Pretty much.
Like you just
if you believe quantum physics, then
you're a quantum physicist.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I believe I'm a quantum physicist, I am.
It's the whole Schrodinger's cat type deal.
Right.
You can't prove that you're not a quantum physicist until you actually look at my credentials. Until then, I am a quantum physicist when I tell you.
Good point. All right. Anyway, at
this job interview.
Yeah. So on the subject of quantum physics, I would just say this, which is that we're not qualified to discuss that. We're as qualified to discuss quantum physics as we are the presence of alien life. But what I would say to Guy, your
so
comment,
we're doing a great job.
Yeah, we're doing terrific. But what I would say, Guy, to your comment about, hey, given the vast nature of the universe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all true, except for one thing. Just what if, the universe is so vast that it turns out that this, right here where we are, this tiny speck in this immense, unimaginably huge universe, is the only place where the exact right combination of elements and chemistry and light and distance,
statistically impossible,
and so on. What if this is just the right space? This is the lone oasis in the universe.
Yeah, listen, I've read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I know that we're all mice in a simulation, dude.
I don't know about that, but I couldn't possibly.
I think it's highly logical.
I said that the galaxies are more numerous than the grains of sand on a beach. And there's only so many types of suns, I believe. There are suns that are exactly like ours. And there are planets that are the same distance from the sun as ours.
Oh, it's estimated there are literally hundreds of thousands of Earth-like.
Yeah. So, like, statistically, when you think about how many galaxies there are and shit, how could it be possible for there to not be many other places?
I think it's more possible. You know, I think it's more unlikely that they're, how am I trying to say it here? I think it's more unlikely there isn't something than there is, All
right. Go ahead, Brad.
I have a better chance fathoming the actual size of the universe than I actually have a chance for fathoming the idea that we are the only things in this universe. I think there's a better chance of me understanding how big our existence is than just playing with that idea.
Yeah, well, when they say the universe is infinite, no one can understand how big infinite is. You know what I mean? That's just a concept to us. So
how many of you heard of the Genesis Code?
Yeah, isn't that device that was in Star Trek 2 that turned planets into paradises?
Well, it could be in that, but it's also an actual code. And it relates time dilation to the creation of the universe.
No, that's heavy. Explain.
Well, basically what it is it's a bunch of fanatical Christians that say essentially that that they can prove that God created the universe in 7 days.
Okay.
Based on the fact of, if you take where we're at in the present time and you move backwards through space to the Big Bang, with time dilation, you would with
You get the number 7.
Time dilation, you would actually end up being 7 days because of the bend of the universe.
Okay, but
that doesn't mean that God.
so
did
this
that.
is the 7th day? Are we still on the 7th day?
That's
what?
That's what they assert. I don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying what their theory is.
How dare you? How dare you make this up on the spot?
Yeah.
I have definitely been alive
I'm
for
kidding.
at least 6 days.
Yeah. Let's burn the witch.
So I will say that, okay, so maybe there are hypothetically millions of Earth-like planets, but then you add this whole time situation and how far light years are and that sort of thing, and you think about how old the Earth is. What if other planets are just kind of in a dinosaur phase at the moment, or woolly mammoth, or whatever creature it is they have? What if they're just not as far along as we are, or they're in just a different phase? I feel like we expect aliens to be smarter than we are, and that's cool and all, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just different.
Yeah. What if aliens are a bunch of dumbasses? Ever think of that?
I have thought of that, but what's to say if we're at this point in the universe, and at this point they're dinosaurs, then what's to say there isn't something way past at this point that has evolved eons beyond us?
Well, something to think about is if there is a planet 65 million light years away, and they're looking through a big-ass telescope and they're looking at us, they're seeing dinosaurs, because that was 65 million years ago, because the light hasn't really caught up yet.
Good point. That's
I mean,
a good point.
Even if there's a alien life form planet a million light years away, we're not going to be there when they look. They're just going to see a bunch of fucking little lizard dudes hanging out.
Yeah, that's true. Especially the lizard
Did
dudes.
Bradley just say a swear?
He did, and he also said lizard dudes. I'm focusing on the lizard dudes and not the swear.
Oh, is this
Alright.
PG?
Well, it's
Well,
No.
you're PG.
I would consider it PG, considering the vulgarity that's coming out of my mouth.
The
Yeah.
Christian fan base is not happy with us.
all right. So listen, here's where we're at right now with the whole alien thing. We're nowhere, really. Ultimately, we're no farther along than we were when we started. Ultimately, other than one important point, which is that it still takes a long time to go to Uranus.
True that.
I don't know if this is better or worse than the AIDS
I think we're
episode.
As soon as you sighed, I knew that's what you were thinking. I heard it.
All right. So, how about the news of the week? I mean, there's some pretty big news this week.
Hear it.
Yeah, tell it to us.
Well,
No.
I'm sure you probably heard that Guaido.
Don't assume what I have and have not heard,
All right,
sir.
fair enough. You heard that.
Don't make assumptions. It makes an ass out of you and umptions.
Good point, Guy. You probably heard that Juan Guaido, who is the self-styled president of Venezuela, decided that he would try and overthrow Nicolas Maduro, the other president of Venezuela, and that his coup fizzled. And so we're no farther along in terms of regime change in Venezuela than we were the week before. You probably had heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Guy heard it.
I heard it.
Because you guys are adults.
Oh, I see.
I heard it.
Okay, good.
Well,
I'm the youngest one here.
yeah.
I wonder,
Look, I
did
don't
anybody see that another Boeing 737 crashed in Jacksonville, Florida?
Nah, shocker.
It didn't crash. It skidded off the runway upon landing. So that's different. No one was killed.
I was
Other
gonna say that doesn't sound
I
software
disagree.
related.
4 animals were killed.
yeah, in the hold of the plane, but they were. If they'd have been really loved animals, they'd have been up as companion animals, wouldn't they have been?
Agreed. So they deserved to die.
And they had it coming, clearly.
For what they did to Ned.
Yes, indeed. And then, though, the other news is that President Trump had a 60 or 90-minute phone call with President Putin. I guess they were just getting a few things squared away. Now that the Mueller report is done and no one cares about what's in it,
And no collusion.
and no obstruction. No,
I think that he calls them.
Absolutely none.
I think that
Putin,
whole Mueller report thing was a perfect example of the expression "fucking the pooch."
I'm sorry. Why? Why do you think
Because
that?
everyone was like, "Oh, when this shit comes out, Trump is done. They are going to impeach this motherfucker. He did that shit. He colluded with Russia. He is going down tonight at the Super Slam." And then they're like, "Yeah, no, none of that happened. Sorry.
Well, some of that.
Keep working."
Did
Well, I mean,
anybody read
Congress-
the report?
I have,
didn't-
believe it or not, I have a print copy of the report. I have a printed copy of the report.
Because of the nature of your job or because of your interest in it?
Both.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I've certainly read it. There are parts of it that are, quite interesting. Let's put it that way. But the truth is simply this: at a certain point, it's up to the American people to decide what is and isn't a crime, what is and isn't acceptable in their president. That's up to the American people, and we're going to have a chance to make that decision in November of 2020. Until then, I think we're all just going to keep muddling through. That's what I think. No other opinions voiced, noted, heard?
I'm curious
you know.
as to why they're what's the deal with Barr? Because they want to investigate the Attorney General Barr now, but he didn't even write the report.
See,
He didn't, but he also, he wrote his memo and shit before he read the report. Wasn't that a thing? Like,
yeah,
he's been.
I believe so. But I guess the consensus is that he's now he's the fuck puppet of the president is what it sounds like.
Well, I will say that if you lie to Congress, like that's a crime.
that is a crime.
People
I
should be
concur that
accountable
is a
for
crime if you lie to Congress, but saying I'm not really sure isn't necessarily a lie. I mean,
No, that you're correct. I just
Well,
yeah.
So what happened is the accusation that he lied involves him being asked the question, "Hey, do you have any sense for how Mueller viewed your memo on the substance of the report?" He's like, "No, I have no idea what Bob Mueller thought." But in fact, Bob Mueller had written him a letter saying, "Hey, I disagree with your characterization of the report." So that's why Congress is saying, "Hey, that sounds kind of like you just lied to us, dude." At least some members of Congress kind of feel that way.
yeah, I don't recollect.
Right? Exactly. That's
I don't
exactly
remember
it.
the letter. Okay, that's not a lie. Maybe he doesn't remember it.
Well, that is one of the things that's interesting in the report that I did read, is that President Trump said in written answers to questions posed to him by Mr. Mueller, said he did not specifically recollect 37 times. So, look, let's face it. It's hard to remember details of crimes you may or may not have committed.
All right,
Yeah.
dude. I'll say I don't recollect 37 times or more in a single conversation, and that's not even to the Supreme Court.
Right, and that's just describing where my fucking car keys are.
That's
right?
just
I don't
to the
recollect.
cashier at
I don't-
Arby's when he asks me what I'm doing here.
I don't recollect.
I'm not sure.
Sir, it's 2 in the morning. We need you to leave. I don't recollect the time being 2 when I got here.
Yeah.
I've been here for hours.
Yeah, who can say? So anyway, yeah, I don't recollect where my car keys are. I don't recollect my wallet. I don't recollect,
What
colluding.
I'm saying is that I think that from people who watched his testimony, they thought that he was fairly, lucid and transparent is what I gathered from. I didn't watch it. I just look at the comments, man. Come on here.
I do. Hey, here's all I know for sure. As I looked at him testifying, I said to my office mates, I said to them, "Hey, since when did John Goodman's brother become Attorney General of the United States?"
He looks like shit.
He does. He needs to lose some weight. Or alternatively, hey, isn't that Fred Flintstone as a grandfather?
John Goodman.
It's the stress of the job.
Yeah, must
John
be.
Goodman's looking good these days. Have you seen him?
Yeah, he is actually.
He's looking good.
He looks
But
a lot
that's
better than
not
William
what
Barr.
you think when you say John Goodman. You
No.
think of the monster, the monster from Roseanne.
Yeah, the
and also
huge.
from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Right, exactly. The giant. All right, anyway, so that happened. And what else was in the news? I don't know, probably fires and murder and death.
The actor who played the OG Chewbacca, he died at 76 or 77. Mid-70s, I think. Yeah, he died.
Yep.
Shame.
Yep, no one knows what he died of, but his name was Peter Mayhew, the original Chewbacca, passed
that
away
was-
in his mid-70s. Yep. Yeah, that's a good
he
point.
was told he was eligible for the role of either Chewbacca or
Darth Vader.
Princess
Vader,
Leia.
yeah. But he or Princess Leia. That was for the private photo shoot. Exactly the trailer.
That was George Lucas's personal offer.
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
Lucas.
gross.
Well, I have to throw my 2 cents in here. Well done, Bradley.
Yeah, but he chose Chewbacca because he wanted to be a hero.
I see. Very good. Well, it was turned
Which
out
is
to be.
what a dumbass, dude. You could have been Darth Vader. Instead, you're gonna be Chewbacca. Nobody gives a fuck about Chewbacca. You know what I mean?
See, that's what he would say to that.
That's character depth right there.
Well, and even if he was Darth Vader, he wouldn't have had any lines either because they had James Earl Jones do the lines
Yeah.
for Darth Vader.
Right.
And he was not the guy in the suit.
I mean, after all the Chewbacca dialogue, I mean, that's heavy acting.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta do a lot of method acting.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, growing a lot of hair, you know, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
a
Yeah.
lot of drugs.
Yeah. All right, anyway, so he's dead. Any other news that you can think of? No? Oh, hey, this just in. Peter Mayhew, still dead. Hey, well, so let's move on to the actual biggest news of the week. And the biggest news of the week was that Game of Thrones, the Battle of Winterfell, that happened.
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
Don't spoil it for me, dog.
Well,
I also-
I will say this. It was probably my least favorite episode.
Why? Just because of how dark it was?
No, I mean, I don't care about the lighting. It was long and it was too long. It was too long and like, I don't want to say it was anticlimactic, but there were definitely parts in there that I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
So you don't want to
I've never
spoil it.
actually seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
you and Nick both.
Yeah, I haven't
never
even-
seen it.
I saw one
Look,
episode.
If you like high fantasy, it's a great show.
And I do like high
Why?
fantasy.
What is your
I've
opinion
been
if you
watching
haven't
a good
seen
show
it?
on Netflix.
What?
It's on HBO, so you have to get like HBO Go or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
I watched a good show on Netflix. It's called Dead to Me. It's got Christina Applegate in it, I watched the pilot episode, and there was quite a twist at the end. I found it very enjoyable.
really, Dead to Me, starring Christina Applegate. Always liked her. Liked her in Anchorman. Liked her in Married with Children. Have liked her for 3 decades. Great actress.
You'll like her in this one. She's really good.
Okay, awesome. Dead to Me. Very good.
Yeah.
And let me just say this about the Game of Thrones episode because, Nick, do you really?
You don't watch it.
Yeah,
do
Nick,
you?
do you watch Game of Thrones?
I will.
Well,
now that I have access to HBO Go, which I just recently acquired.
all right. Well, look, man, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but
You know what? Just go ahead and keep talking, and I'm just going to not listen.
Okay, that's,
Everybody does. No.
yeah, this will be normal then. So anyway, so I mean, the whole idea that you could just kill the Winter King and then his whole entire army would also melt away. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but
That's always been a thing, though. Like,
Yeah, I
it's-
think the hive mind complex. I think it's something like that.
they established that. I mean, I thought maybe I don't know. I could be wrong. I thought that they established it, but what were you going to say, Bradley?
something like what you said, where it's like you kill the leader, all of them die. It's something like a hive mind complex. I think that's like the term they use for movies.
yes.
I just think it's a very overused sort of trope, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like in any way. Like I get it's like, oh, it's easy, haha, move on. It's just lazy after a while.
I understand. I see what you're saying. It's lazy script writing because it's how to get rid of this massive enemy in just one stroke. So
Yeah,
you don't have really this long-term conflict and so on and so forth. You just kill the guy and then it's over. And also, I mean, it does, on the other hand, justify Ariana Stark's, 5 years in the murder academy or whatever, right?
Oh
So
my God,
what?
nothing. Keep
Arya?
going.
What's her
You-
name? Arya?
You just murdered the murder child, but you go ahead.
It's crazy. Like, even though when you're telling me something important, I'll just zone out and not listen unintentionally.
Right?
But I
I
was
have
intentionally
acquired
trying not to listen, and I still heard every fucking
You heard
word.
every word.
Yeah.
Every fucking word, trying not to listen.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you just should have paid close attention and you'd have phased right out. Yeah. Well-
Yeah, rookie mistake. I should have known.
Well, so how about we'll switch it up then a little. So we watched Avengers, and I will not give any spoilers because that's not appropriate. But I will say, as much as I have not wanted to see Captain Marvel because I just Brie Larson just annoys me. I think she looks like she just ate a lemon and needs to take a shit at the same time, at all times. I just despise her as an actress for no reason.
Find that look
No
attractive.
reason.
I also do.
Sometimes I practice that look in the mirror. Whatever. Eddie, keep going.
So I enjoyed her character enough in Avengers Endgame that I now want to go see Captain Marvel.
So there you go.
You should. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I mean, fuck.
Another actress that always looks constipated is Kristen Stewart.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Always
a prime
looks like
example
she's
of
constipated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but and
like
yet it's
she
attractive
ate
on her.
shit.
Yeah, it's attractive on her.
No.
No, opinions vary. Well, you're not attracted to women anyway. What would you know? All right, so, or are you?
Got her.
As far as you know. I mean, on
I
paper.
can appreciate the female form as much as male form.
Ooh,
She
all
does
right.
like Gal Gadot. She does. That is a thing.
Oh, Gal
Who
Gadot,
doesn't?
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we
Who
were,
doesn't? You show me a person, man or woman, that's like Gal Gadot. Nah, not feeling it. And I'll show you a liar.
I once heard her say Gal Goddamn.
Yeah, Gal Goddamn. That's how you're supposed to say it.
Goddamn.
yeah.
That's all
Actually,
I'm
I
talking
think
about, homie. I know that's right.
my
That's
man.
what I'm talking about.
All
My
right.
man.
All right, so Gal Gadot, I think is her name.
No, it's Gadot. We've had this conversation a million times with Noah.
Really?
Yeah,
It's,
whatever. Notre Dame or whatever.
it's
Yeah.
Gadot?
He's corrected you on that for a year and a half.
I was
Wait. What did you think it was, Dad?
I thought it was Gal Gadot.
I did too.
Oh, yeah. That sounds a lot like Gargamel, you know?
I thought it was
So, just for the
Gal Gadot.
uninformed, Gadot would be the French pronunciation, but she is Israeli, not French, so it's Gadot.
So it's Gadach.
All right. Yeah. Roll that R at the end or whatever. All right.
You gotta hack the R. Rolling the R is what they do in Hispanish languages.
You don't know shit about it.
And there's no R in her name.
Yeah, but he's rarely called out on it, so good job.
You don't know how much Israeli I do or do not know.
You could be a polyglot for all you know.
Let's start with the fact that there is no language called Israeli. It's Hebrew. Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
It's
It's Hebrew, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course it's Hebrew. All right, anyway.
And I knew that, and I was testing you, and you failed, actually.
I think I passed. But look, here's the
Actually,
point.
passed.
Yeah, here's the point. Gal, whatever her name is yeah, she's real attractive. That's the point. So
She
much.
is a wondrous woman, but I will say, unpopular opinion, I fucking hated Wonder Woman.
Really?
That movie was so boring to me.
wow.
You are dead.
Like,
to me.
dude, I literally, so many times I was like, all right, this is the end, right? Okay, this is the end, right? Okay, to the point where the end came and I was pissed off that I had waited that long.
I will agree with that it kind of drags on the ending a little bit, but I just like it because this is kind of a dumb reason to like it. But like Wonder Woman's theme is in I was telling Elsie about this earlier. Her Wonder Woman's theme is like my top 3 for like superhero or supervillain themes. It is so well done.
What, the like the color scheme?
No.
No,
Oh no, you're talking about the music.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I just like her hot pants. I mean, is that wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Hey, I love to look at Wonder Woman as much as the next guy. Trust me. But I have plenty of files and pictures and videos that I can
I
actually
do that on my own time.
Yeah, I don't need to sit through this weird fucking dragged out thing that
I
that
have
keep-
terabytes to my name.
Yeah, I was
I think we
waiting
should all
for the-
picture it with the original Linda Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was old fashioned hot too. You couldn't fake that. But neither doesn't matter. The point is, I hate Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay. So here's the other point. You are probably, if you have not seen Avengers Endgame, you should go see it. It's a very enjoyable film, especially if you've seen the bulk of the other Marvel movies, right?
Which I
I
have.
thought it was like 4 hours long or something.
It's 3 hours.
Three.
It's a fast
But they
3-hour
need a lot
film.
of time to resolve.
It's a fast 8 hours.
Well, ironically, the first hour is the slowest. The next 2, you just don't even realize how much time has passed.
Yeah, because the first
Right.
hour is kind of like the Avengers. Let's talk about our feelings.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I don't want to make it seem like I don't care about how or like that a long movie is a deal breaker for me. I don't care how long the movie is, but there was just so many times where like I was sure everything was resolved. It's all tied up now and we're done. But then it wasn't. And
Yeah,
it just,
But wait,
Get-
more Nazis.
yes, but wait.
get
It's this guy, the guy who played it's Professor Remus from Harry Potter. He's actually got more. Oh wait.
All right, get over it, dude. And,
All right,
and-
sorry.
Yeah, and gird your loins for Wonder Woman 1984 because that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still go see it.
Yeah. Anyway, are we the only ones? Are Brad and Elsie and I the only ones that have seen Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Oh.
hard to get tickets and not pay $29.95.
Well, step up to the
I'm
pump,
trying-
cheapskate. Come on, man. Let's
What?
go.
You're
Well,
just
you
gonna
see
let
the other
Captain
thing?
Marvel squeeze your nuts for all the money in the world? Are you kidding?
Yeah. That, and I've got like 15 people to take, so like even finding tickets together has been an issue for the past.
I understand.
Wait. You have to have 15 people? What the fuck?
No, well, I mean, I have like 10 people that I'm supposed to be
that
taking.
want to go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So
it's
what
just-
we
it's
did,
been a whole thing.
we
I'm one
went
of
to
those
the
people.
least popular theater in the area, and we got great seats. Everywhere else was sold out.
Yeah, it was easy.
I like to wait till it comes out at Elvis Cinema where it's $3.
Yeah, well, in this
That's-
particular
yeah.
film, you're going to be waiting until early June because it's making still boatloads of money but it will still be a good
fine with
film
that.
in early June.
Yeah, early.
It-
It's
it
still
actually-
a good movie.
It just recently passed a $2 billion mark for revenue.
I will
got
say
nothing
this.
but time.
I will say this is that my coworker said that if I didn't go see it this weekend, she would start talking about it. And if she does that, I will have to kill her.
Punch
So
her in the
I
throat.
might be in the market for a new job.
Or-
As soon as she talks,
No,
go
you're
for
not
the
going to. You're going to be. You're going to be in the market for a qualified defense attorney. That's what you're going to be in the market for.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, all right. Well, hopefully that doesn't come to that, but it could. So we'll all just be prepared for your arrest and arraignment. All right. So in the meantime, in terms of pop culture, I think we're done with that for now. So how about those UFC fights last night? Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
Boy.
Hey, I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
let me bring up
Me too.
let me bring up some facts here.
Yeah, bring them up.
So, how much do you think Cowboy Cerrone got paid for that fucking bloodbath he executed last night?
I know that it was the fight of the night, so he got a $50,000 bonus. I know that, but I don't know what his payday was. Tell me.
His pay. All right. So, and by the way, there's a boxing match last night as well. So there's two different main events. But Donald Cerrone made $400,000.
Okay,
Okay.
plus 50,000 bonus, so he made $450K.
Yeah. Well, that might include his $50,000 bonus.
I see.
He may have gotten $350
Almost half a mil.
plus fight of the night, and that was a goddamn fight of the night too. Al Iaquinta is not like he went 5 rounds with Khabib,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's not a bitch. He's not a slouch. You know what I mean? But dude, Cowboy Cerrone pieced him up. By the end of the fight, not only did they have to carry Al Iaquinta out of there because his leg
Was destroyed.
was completely purple from leg kicks by round 4, but his face since round 1 was just sliced open. Sliced open.
Yeah.
Cuts across the bridge of his nose, under his
Mhm.
eyes. It just looked like lasagna. And Donald Cerrone at the end of it all, after this 25-minute ass whooping, looked like he just went for a light jog.
and you
So
want to hear the funny part? Here's what I read. What I read was that Cowboy said, "I just wasn't into it. I couldn't warm up I couldn't wrestle. I couldn't hit the bags. I couldn't really get into it until the second round. He didn't even want to fight until the second round."
Yeah. Yeah, Cowboy Cerrone's a bad motherfucker.
The second round was the round that Iaquinta won. So I'm not
Well,
surprised.
that's
by
why,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's my original point. So the other main event was a boxing match. I don't know who the fuck it was, but how much do you think he got paid being a main event fighter as a boxer?
I'm going to guess $15 million.
Close, $35 million.
Holy cow, that's not close.
What
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fuck?
Double that. So what do you think about that? Both those men, Al Iaquinta and Donald Cerrone, because Iaquinta did not give up. There's some fights like Kamaru Usman and Tyron Woodley. You could see Tyron Woodley just
Yeah.
looking up at the clock, waiting to get out of that fucking cage.
Yeah.
Iaquinta, despite being tarnished to the bone, never gave up. Like, he still was advancing and shit to his detriment, sure, but he got hard. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Mhm.
So that was a bloodbath. There was blood all over both of them. Not, it was all Iaquinta's blood, but whatever. And they're getting paid $400. The winner got paid a fraction of what that boxing match main event.
And the reason is and that has to do with Las Vegas, right? So more people bet on boxing than bet on UFC.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that might change over time. You know what I mean?
So-
The fan base is growing. I think there's just not enough people, not as many people.
Yeah,
who
well,
are-
it's
Let's go to
it's
boxing.
more. It's easier to make odds.
And
on
it's
a
easier to
boxing match.
fix.
Yeah, everything's easier on a boxing match. So that's why those guys get paid more.
Huh.
I did not know that the co-main was a boxer. Who was it?
What?
Who cares?
No.
No, you mean there was a separate event?
There's a separate event from a
Okay.
separate
Yeah.
fucking promotion.
I was like,
and
that makes
so
more
the
sense.
main event for UFC, Donald Cerrone, the winner of the main event got $400,000.
Got it.
Yep.
Bloodbath.
So-
winner of the main event for this boxing championship or event was $35 million.
All right, so
That makes sense.
let's all agree that there's no justice and move on to the biggest sports story of the week, which is the Kentucky Derby winner wasn't the winner. It turns out that Maximum Security cheated. He fouled another horse and was so disqualified, and so Countrywide took the Kentucky Derby.
Maximum Security being the name of the horse.
Indeed.
And and this horse
Did
fouled
what to
another
the other
horse.
house?
That's right, he fouled the horse. It's a horse foul.
The horse did.
Yes.
The jockey had nothing to do with it.
No, this horse, he reached out and punched this other horse.
Wait. Is the Kentucky Derby, they just race horses? It's not even people on it?
Look, the horse's name is Maximum Security. What did you think was going to happen?
He cut a bitch. That's what happened. You know,
Don't
just
get cut, bitch.
Explain a horse foul, please.
all right.
Yeah,
So what happens is you're not allowed to cut off another horse or to bump into another horse.
You got to stay in your lane.
You got to stay in your lane. You can only cut off another horse if you are well in front of them. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to
Yeah.
be clear of the other horse. You can't knock them out of the way.
You gotta have your turn signal on too.
That's-
always important.
What's that, Brad?
You gotta have your turn signal on. Always gotta make sure they know that
That's
you're
true.
making a move.
Yeah, you do. You have to signal your intentions as well.
Yeah,
The
the cops will drive right onto that
The horse's tail just starts swishing towards the left, and it's like, all right, that's what we're doing.
Oh, it was my understanding that they just fused horse flesh with an actual car blinker, and then it's a horrible
Some
infected mess.
horrible act of God, and
Yeah.
it's creepy.
Yeah.
Bioengineering.
Yeah.
As I say, every day we stray further from God's light. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but so this jockey tried to keep the horse in the lane, and the horse was like, no, I fucking hate that guy. Fouled him, and there you go.
No. So
This goddamn ankles.
yeah. So what happened, in fact, was who knows exactly how it happened, but in the early parts of the race, Maximum Security bumped another horse, like Winds of War, I think, was the horse that he cut off and jostled. And
Whack.
yeah. And at the end, they reviewed the tape. It took them 22 minutes. There was a complaint filed by that particular horse's owner. And after reviewing the tapes, they said, yeah, Maximum Security clearly fouled. And that's a disqualification, and that's the way it is. And so for the first time in history, the winner of the Kentucky Derby was disqualified. The horse that crossed the finish line first was
And
disqualified.
so, did second place become the winner, or was it the horse who got fouled?
No, the second place finisher became the horse that won.
Oh, okay.
And the third place, became the second place, and the fourth place became the third place.
And so on and so forth.
And then, as we see, history repeats itself.
Why don't we have any? Why is there only fucking horse races and dog races? Why don't we have more races? You know what I mean?
You mean like ostrich races? And
Yeah, ostrich races would be very cool. I was thinking more like rhino races, but
well, they're
But-
endangered.
Who's gonna host a rhino race?
Whoa, wait, just think. This is the perfect way to get rhino population back up. You start a show called The Rhino Derby, all right? And the people are going to want to breed their own rhinos and shit specifically for racing.
That is not.
But you got to have all the permits, you got to have all the space and shit. Some guys got to come over, inspect, and make sure you got proper facilities and you're trained to raise a rhino. We boost those numbers up, and then we could do that with everything. You know what I mean? Every endangered species, we just have a derby.
yeah, like a
So
tiger derby.
There was
Yeah.
a movie. That movie, The Queen and I, or whatever. What was that movie called?
It's like the rhinoceros was trapped
No.
in the queen's china cabinet.
No, but they raced ducks. Was the point?
They
they
raised
had-
dubs.
Yeah, the ducks.
No.
And
So
the
they had
king
like
and I-
Okay.
they
Yeah.
had the French nobility or whatever, English nobility. I
Oh,
don't
it's
know. Doesn't matter.
the favorite, the movie that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
both
yeah.
complained about and thought was stupid. They
Yeah.
race ducks.
Okay, they race
race
ducks.
ducks.
Yeah, who cares? Ducks are not endangered. If we're talking about endangered species races,
Yeah.
well, what are we talking about here? Blue whale races then too, probably.
That would be fine too, dude.
Yeah.
You can train them. You can train them, and then we just have
Well,
races.
You
It'd be
guys,
like-
I'm sure, already discussed the beluga whale thing, right?
Oh, the Russian beluga whale?
Yeah, you already discussed that,
No,
I'm sure,
we
right?
we forgot. I'm sure President Trump and President Putin discussed it in their phone call.
I think Trump calls him Putin Nanny.
So they have a hootenanny with a pootenanny?
Rootin' tootin'
Big
bootin'.
Daddy Putin Nanny, I think.
Yeah,
probably.
And then they all get carted off.
Yeah,
By
so-
the-
Daddy Poutine.
But by the way, for those who did not know, there was a whale found in Norwegian waters that had a harness on it that said property of St. Petersburg something or other. And this beluga whale was acting quite oddly. And it is
Yeah.
likely that they trained this beluga whale for some sort of espionage activities.
But don't you
Surveillance.
think that would be like they're really, if it's a spy whale, they're gonna put right on the strap property of St. Petersburg?
Well, I don't think the motherfucker's getting caught now, do they? No.
Well, don't you think that would be like some insurance? Like maybe Germany's doing it. They're like, we're gonna put property of St. Petersburg on this motherfucker.
They were
Just
so
in case
confident
the other
in this.
yeah.
they were
They're not
so
very good at
confident
diversion tactics.
The whale.
I'll say that.
Yeah. So what about this, Brad?
They were so confident that the spy whale, which by the way, great movie idea. They were confident that the spy whale was not going to get caught. Then this dumb fuck went to Norway, got his ass caught, and now they're just screwed.
Yeah, that's
Nah,
true.
dude. I think if they're smart enough to obtain and train a whale and put a fucking harness, a custom whale harness on this mother, that's just ridiculous in of itself on its face. A whale harness for what? Guns, cameras, sonar?
Look, it's a
What the
spy whale, okay? It needs
Okay.
equipment. It needs like a
Whatever.
lockpick
So you
and
think they're gonna
revolver and
Really a well-known fact that both the Russian and U.S. military have trained dolphins.
Yeah, that is
that
is a
actually
documented
drop
fact
ordinances, locate submarines and shit like that.
yeah, it's a fact.
okay, but that's not my point. The point is, you think after they think of all this, they're gonna put property of St. Petersburg on the fucking harness?
Yeah, well, that they did. So I do think that they would do that because
Okay, well, I
that's
think
what they did.
I think someone else put that there to make you think that it's Russian.
Yeah,
It's a reverse diversion tactic.
yeah. Why should 1 and 1 equal 3 in this instance? I think 1 and 1
Or
equals 2.
Maybe it is property of St. Petersburg, and they'll be like, we're going to put property of St. Petersburg because they're going to think that someone else put that on there, trying to make it seem like we did that, and they'll know. And then they'll know we didn't do it, but really we did do it.
They're
Quick
just
question.
bringing our.
Does that make
What
sense?
the hell are you talking about?
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make a
Reverse
goddamn
diversionary
lick of
tactic.
sense.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
bringing attention to
Reverse
the
diversion.
whales, so you won't pay attention to the sharks with lasers on their head project.
Yeah, and let's face it, beluga whales clearly another species that could be trained to race.
True.
Yeah, yeah. That's where this all originates from. Condor, California condor race. Kind of like how they have drone racing. You know, they train the condor to fly through these hoops and shit. They got little pieces of meat hanging.
Is that a legit thing, or is this another one of your
This
harebrained?
could-
It's
See,
harebrained.
you thought it was legit. You thought it was possible that it could have been legit. It's not harebrained. You know it's a good idea.
No, it's still harebrained. People do harebrained shit all the time.
But it
Come
gets on TV. This might work, though. You know what I mean? This might
Yeah.
work. This might bring populations back. People
Like-
are going to want to breed their own racing
Polar
creatures.
bears or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Maryland crab races. There we go.
If those are
They're not
Ex-
endangered. No. they're
well,
fine.
yeah, if they're not endangered, then no one gives a fuck. You can just do that. In your
Oh,
own
we're talking
free
about
time with your
endangered
buddies.
shit.
Here's
We have like
the
a
real question.
You
Yeah.
can just capture those.
Okay.
Here's the
look-
real question:
yes.
is how the fuck did horse racing get so popular?
Oh,
because they're
it's-
fast.
It's the sport
I
of
don't-
kings. They're tremendous athletes. It really is something to watch a horse race.
Well, and it's one of the oldest sports, so there's a
It's
lot
fu-
of tradition.
And
tied
rhino
up in it.
racing wouldn't it be a tremendous
Right?
athlete?
Right? Why is that not already a fun thing?
somebody gets it.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess somebody does.
I
guess
think
somebody
camel racing actually predates horse racing, but I could be
I
wrong
believe
about
that.
that.
I would believe that.
does.
So after we save all the endangered species by making them race, do we start making orphans and the mentally ill race to get taken care of?
What do? We have the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Brad, but no one bets on it. That's the thing.
Are you kidding me? There's a huge market for it.
I did not know that.
Let's
All right.
start that.
No, it's already going, apparently. All right, so anyway, good talk. Are we missing anything this week, do we think?
No.
Are we doing weird random questions by chance?
We already did we started with weird random question.
Hey, you know what? What's better than winning the Special Olympics?
What's that?
Not being
Cheating.
retarded.
I think
That's good. I like that one.
I think they should add an MMA to the Special Olympics.
Oh man,
Oh my
That's all the
god.
CTE.
You know what? You may want to edit that one out.
yeah.
I have a joke fault for the MMA Special Olympics, but I think it's a little too not
Just play
okay.
it backwards. Just reverse what Guy said there, and then if someone they'll be able to tell that it's backwards, and then if they want to bad enough, they can.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do it for
Reverse
mine.
I'd like to formally apologize for my tasteless joke.
Thank you.
There we go. We got
Thank
that on
you.
record. We'll make sure to not use it though, and take your joke out of
Yeah.
context.
On behalf of the disabled, thank you.
And yeah.
Okay. Well, that was great. That was just
They
great.
won't get it.
All right. Oh, I don't know. Elsie's saying something. She doesn't want to tell me. I don't know what it is.
Well, I was trying to not say it, but we need to remember our dear sponsors.
Oh my
Can't
gosh,
forget
yes.
them.
Oh, I almost forgot that this
Special
episode
Olympics.
is brought to you by Ziffs. Fine dining and a relaxed continental atmosphere in Invercargill, New Zealand's fake sponsors of a Shin show for more than a 50th of a century. And also the Throne Room, heavy tattoos after your light refreshing meal, also in Invercargill, New Zealand. Don't forget to go. Both of them fake sponsors of this podcast for, these many months. Shout out right now to Ben, our only binge listener. Ben, I hope you've been enjoying a Shin show as much as you did when you binged that one time. All right,
Does
so
he
there you
even
go.
still do that?
What-
Does he even still do
One,
that?
can one binge listen when he listens faithfully every week?
Does he still
Does he
listen faithfully?
every week?
Does he? Does he?
I think
Does he
was
stray
true.
from God?
How do we know
all
that
the
Ben
time.
is actually binge listening? How do we know? How did you know that?
Yeah.
Because he said so.
See,
I think we should. I think gifts are in order.
To Ben?
He
I
gets
bought him ice
mentioned
cream
every
the other day. Does that count?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does count. Yeah.
That's a gift, yeah.
How
Actually,
about a tattoo session at the Victiminius Tattoo Parlor?
at the Throne Room. Absolutely. Let's fly Ben, first class,
No.
to Invercargill, New Zealand. Have him get a Shin Show tattoo at
First
the Throne Room.
500 callers get the same package.
I think
Get
we
a
should make them fly
tramp stamp tattoo of
themselves.
Ziffs.
I was thinking a sweatshirt or something. But
Oh, okay.
now that you mention it, yeah, I think a first class ticket to New Zealand is better.
Oh, yeah, a lot
One
better.
way, naturally. I mean, you're going to have to backpack it out of there if you know what we're saying. But we got the tattoo appointment already booked and ready, so it's kind of non-negotiable.
Ben, we're coming for you.
That's right. First 500 callers get the same damn thing. All
You know
right.
what? I'd like to have Ben on the show.
Yeah, we need to. Can that be arranged? Can we get an interview with Ben, Sarah? What do you think?
I think I've asked him and he said no, thank you.
Oh.
But
So-
I can't remember if that's something that actually happened or something that I'm just projecting onto him.
Yeah, because
So I'll ask again.
All right, that's fine. Give us a report next week, will you?
Doesn't seem like the podcasting type.
Ah,
He's pretty shy.
I guess he'd be able to answer questions.
yeah, I mean, I have a series of
Conducted
very
an interview.
yeah. Well, an interrogation really is what it'd be, but nevertheless, I think it'd be. I'd look
Don't
forward to that.
scare him away,
Oh,
y'all. Come on now.
Don't worry.
Oh, no,
well,
no.
now we're going to know if he listens or not because if he comes on the show, clearly he doesn't listen to it, right?
Yeah.
Good point, huh? All right. Well, good show, kids. A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are exclusively their own. It's brought to you on a fake basis each week by Ziff's Fine Dining in Invercargill, New Zealand, and by The Throne Room, Tattoos, also in Invercargill, also brought to you on a fake basis. We're available on Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music and wherever you are foolish enough to get your podcasts. Remember, be sure not to leave a review, and if you're hearing this, don't listen at all. See you next week.
Nice wrap up. I like it.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much.
Good job.